How you doing? Welcome OG people. Martin, Alligator Window Tint. Today we are doing Matt's E36. We're going to be doing it with a XPEL 20% Prime XR with a 70% Prime XR Blue on the windshield. Going to be a little bit of a different film than what we've used in the past, testing some things out, see how we like it. I think this is going to be the winner, and we'll get going from there. As soon as Matt gets in here, because he just got here, I'm sure he'll join in and say something on camera, but that's what we got going on right now. So the reason that you're seeing me shrink half the windshield, or half the back window, excuse me, and lift it off the glass and reposition it is because of this antenna right here. It's in the way of where I want the pattern to shrink it completely down in one piece. So I have to do the top, and then with the window tint slid down, and then I will do the bottom with it slid up, since I can't leave it in one position. So what I'm doing right now is forming the window tint to fit the curvature of the glass that it's going to go on. So think of window film as a big sticker that I'm going to install on your window, and your window has curvature and the window film is dead flat. So a more extreme example would be if you were to try to put a sticker on top of a football helmet. You wouldn't be able to wrap it. You'd see all the fingers and bubbles from where the flat sticker doesn't conform to the round helmet. And it's a similar example, but this is less extreme, but you've got to shrink the film to fit the curvature of the glass and get rid of all these finger bubbles that are splitting like that. So that's why it goes on the outside, so that you don't roast the interior with a heat gun before you put it on the inside. So that's why you'll see a window tinter putting all the film on the outside, getting everything set and prepped, and then install it on the inside. And the reason that you're seeing me spray the patterns right off the board before I put it on the car, this car specifically, Matt's having me do this in the middle of polishing. And so the less water I get on the paint is going to be the better. And so I'm using a little bit extra soap so I don't spray the car as much, so there'll be less water to deal with. So everything inside the press-all bottles is what's known as my slip solution, and it's basically a soapy solution that XPEL designed so that it chemically works the best with the adhesive that bonds the window film to the glass. So certain soaps will, if you're using the wrong soap, it'll affect the optical clarity because of the way that the chemical reaction between certain adhesives and the window film. And so XPEL designed this particular slip solution to work well with the adhesive within the film. But that's everything in my soapy. It's just basically soap, so it's a good for, you know, cleaning off the windows or such. On certain cars, you feel the need to have extra protection on your car, so you will PPF it. But when you PPF it, that extra protection makes it less optically clear looking at the paint. So that's why, like, you ceramic coat it, it looks massively clear. You put PPF on it, you still see the paint, it still is clear, but it's not as clear as if that extra layer wasn't there. XR is a ceramic film, so you still get, you know, in the 80s, in the heat reduction IR, in the 60s total solar. XR Plus is the ceramic film that is XR with the addition of IR reducers, which reduce even more heat. So with a thicker film, when you're looking through more technology, you're going to drop down a tick in optical clarity because you're looking through more material. So I think XR on this is going to be the call. And then on the windshield on this, we're using XR70 blue. So the dye in the windshield is going to be a blue tone instead of a black tone. And then from what I've been told, that is more optically pleasing and clear on the eyesight to the naked eye. So I think the windshield's going to be the clarity that you're looking for, and I think that film's going to be the clarity that you're looking for versus the XR Plus. Because let's look at you specifically. You go from your air-conditioned garage at your house to your air-conditioned garage at your work center, and they're what, 2 miles away? Yeah. You know, the extra level of heat rejection that XR Plus brings you, do you functionally even see the difference in that in 2 miles? Probably not. Yeah. I think for you, this is going to be the right call and save you some monies. So, yeah, we're cooking with gas though. The reason that I have the light shut off right now is because for hand cutting a windshield, so the reason I'm hand cutting this windshield is because the pattern is not in there for this year vehicle. The vehicles that are going to have the windshield patterns in the software system are going to be the newer cars. You know, this is a 96, this is a bit older, so the windshield pattern was not in there, so I'm hand cutting it. But I need to be able to see exactly where to cut to get it a tight pattern. And with the Cree lights that are in here are so bright that it washes out the backlit from where I need to cut. So I have the light shut off so I can easier see the backlight. Anything with frameless doors nowadays, the windows are going to roll up and down when you open and close the door. And what that is, it's a seal. So you see how it's lower right here. You close the door, the window raises, and it creates a tight seal. You open the door, it drops down, lets you open the door. So everyone asks about this. So the way that you do, you squeeze the door latch in there, and then with this car, it looks like, there it is. So, we need something that we can use as a wedge. Boom. So you trick the window latch, make the car think that the door is shut by tricking the window latch, which will roll the window all the way up, which will allow you to tint all the way down into the bottom without having to worry about contamination or even if you can access it. So one of the things that I do differently on anything with frameless, because of that, this window needs extra time to dry. So anything with frameless, I always do the driver's side door first. It gives it the most time to dry before you're done with the vehicle. So that way, if the client goes to drive the car as soon as I'm done, it doesn't mess up the window tint from getting in and out of the car. This one's a bit of a different, this is a bit of a different scenario just because this car is not going to be driven right away. And what you're seeing me do right here, the window film is not thick enough, or excuse me, not thin enough to get in between these dots. So the reason you can hear this is these dots are raised off the glass. And so you'll see this in the border of a lot of sedans, and you'll see it silver a little bit. And what you're seeing is the air that's in between these dots, because the glue is so thin that it can't get in there. So think about, the best analogy that I have is, if you think about a rock, like if you had a flower bed with a rock landscaping, if you were to take one of those rocks and put it on your driveway and put your welcome mat over it, you'd see the bulge from that rock. If you put your couch cushion on that rock, you wouldn't see it because the couch cushion is thick enough to absorb it to where you can't see that discrepancy. So I filed this down a little bit with a blade and it helps reduce the silvering. I leave the window soapy while I'm prepping the piece of film is because I don't want I want as little dust flying around inside the car as possible before I go to do the install. So I prefer leave the back window with the soapy water from the scrubby pad on there, come inside with the film already ready to go, and then that way when I squeegee off like this, as soon as I'm done with my squeegee, I wet it down for the new tint, and then that way there is minimal seconds from when I remove the tint, or squeegee off the soapy water, and when I actually install the film. Just giving it as little time as possible for contamination or dust to stick to the inside of the glass, which sounds weird because the glass, you know, the dust would have to go upside down to get to it, but it does happen. So to minimize that, just as little time as possible with raw air seems to be the best, you know, solution. Going to the top. Sorry if that. And there's no cure-all, right? If the window film blocks a certain amount of light coming in at night when there's less light, you know, it's blocking that amount of light of the less light. So alrighty. Moment of truth. Alrighty, so I've wrapped up the E36. We've got XPEL Prime XR, 20% sides and rear, 70 blue on the windshield. But I wanted to touch base, just if you're getting your car tinted locally, whatever it be, you want to wait 2 to 3 days, depending on the temperature, to roll the windows down. And basically what all you're waiting for there is for the tint to dry in the border, because you install it with soapy water, so that way it doesn't catch on the gasket right inside here and peel it up from the inside. So that's why you wait a couple of days to roll your windows down. Generally I say 2, but we're here in Florida where we don't participate in winter, so it's a little bit warmer. If we were in a cold climate where it snows or something like that, I'd maybe give it a 3rd day to dry out. And then if you're doing a windshield or a back window or something, you might see a little bit of orange peel in the moisture pockets. People generally say bubbles, kind of a bad word with window tint, but it's just moisture from the wet install. And when the light comes in and hits that moisture at different angles, you're gonna see an orange peel effect until it cures. So basically it has to dry, but the air can't get in between the film and the glass to evaporate that moisture. So it basically has to bake out through the glass. So that can take 7 to 10 days depending on the climate that you're in. So just something to be aware of when you get your windows tinted. If it looks a little blotchy, orange peely, little damp, little moisture, it will dry, it will go away. It's just the product of a wet install. So
Martin has the E36 done. I decided to go much darker. It looks way darker in here than it will outside. That's so true. Don't freak out. It's going to look way darker on camera than it will in the sun.
Like limo in here.
Right. And so you decided to do 20% instead of 15.
Yes.
We did Prime XR, not XR Plus, in order to help aid in clarity.
Yes.
I'm interested to test that out.
Yep.
You did the 70 blue tinted, right? The 70 blue, but still XR.
Yes.
So we have ceramic heat rejection, but not quite as much IR rejection but it's not as thick.
Yes.
So that could also possibly aid in any imperfections and stuff like that as well. It won't be as pronounced because it's not as thick.
Correct. So the rabbit hole that you caused me to go down after I did the M2 was that little bit of optical clarity that you've got to be looking for it. And so some of the other films on the market are a little bit thinner. Like I had played with probably 3 or 4 different films, and I had texted you about a couple of them. They were a little bit more optically clear, but they did not perform near to the same degree.
Yeah.
My wife told me, take this off my car and put XR Plus back on. The heat rejection's not there. Like the optical clarity is a little better, but the performance of it, nowhere close.
Yeah.
And so I started going down the rabbit hole, called some big dogs over at XPEL, And so they were kind of telling me the thickness, the more technology you're looking at through a thicker film is going to lend itself to not be quite as optically clear as a thinner film with less material. So the analogy that we had spoke about before we turned the camera on was, think about heat rejection in terms of paint protection. So you put protection on a ceramic coating. Well, when you put PPF, you get extra performance, extra protection, but you're looking through more material to see the paint. So is it still clear? Yes, you can still pretty clearly see the paint on the E92, but it's not quite as clear as if there was no PPF. So XR is a ceramic film. XR Plus is a ceramic film with the addition of IR reducers, which puts more technology in the film and a little bit thicker film, so you're looking through a little bit more.
Got it.
So this is going to lend itself to be a little more optically clear. Also, the blue in the windshield film optically will look a little more clear, because looking through blue versus looking through black, the way your eyes play with the light has an effect as well.
So what did this cost?
$399 sides and rear, $199 windshield, and my XR Plus would have been
So 400, 600 bucks.
and $299,
So 600 bucks versus,
$900.
yeah, got it. So that's what people want to know. You know, what does it cost to do it?
Yeah, it's a little bit less.
So 600 bucks to do. That's about what you're looking at. You know, is that pretty average? I mean, is that are you on the higher
side of the average for the area?
Yeah.
But with mobile, you're going to find that.
Yeah.
You go to Publix and pay a price, but if you log on to Instacart and have it delivered,
Yeah,
to
you
your
got
house, pay
premium.
more.
Yeah.
So I'm on the higher side of the average, unapologetically, but that's because I'm mobile. I'm coming to you.
Yeah.
But then, some people split it up. I have plenty of clients that have not had any optical clarity issues on XR Plus. Either their eyesight's not there, or they're not looking at it as intently as you do. So maybe they'll put XR on the sides and rear, XR Plus on the windshield, so they get that extra performance on the windshield. It really just depends on each customer, but that's why we went with XR, not XR Plus on this. And then we did 20, little dark, not too dark, but that's probably nationwide the most common percentage. And since we know we're going to give this away, as if I work here, we know you're going to give this away. So let's put a common percentage on there, and then the clear blue on the front.
Yeah, so I decided to go darker on this. I mean, I spent whatever 15, 18 grand to get the interior done, and I don't want it to melt. And so I've had it out. So I was going to do real light. I was going to do or no tint, and having it, like, every time I set it outside, I just felt like the dash was going to melt off, which it really will. I mean, the door cards, I spent so much money finding and then fixing them that I just don't want the thing to melt. And so we went with a darker tint. The cool thing about tint is it comes off. Not easy, but it comes off.
Put stickers on windows is what I
it can come off, and within a reasonable amount of time without a whole lot of damage. So if the next person wanted to take the tint off, they could. This was tinted before, which you removed. So we had removed
it right when you got it.
I removed all the old stuff, and then I wanted to sort of decide and I'm glad I waited, because we were going to do like 80% all the way around, and I wouldn't have been happy with that. So this turned out great. Yep. So hit up Alligator Window Tint if you're anywhere in the area. We were talking about maybe getting a shop someday, a local shop.
I need one. The conversation we were having is, I obviously respect your business mind, so I was asking you scaling the business.
Yeah.
I want to make the right decision, not the right now decision, but I want to wrap my head around that, and so that was a excessively valuable conversation. So eventually I'll get there, but I want to make the right decision for the business, and not right now I need to make a change.
Yeah.
So I want to figure out how to scale my business so that way I'm not, at the end of my years or in the later chapters of my life, and I'm still crawling into the back of tiny cars. I want to be able to operate a business, not own my labor.
Yeah.
And, so there's a process there, as we discussed.
Well, thanks, brother.
Yeah,
Thanks for
no
coming out and doing the car. And this car is going to be a giveaway in January, and wait till you see the video we're going to put together for it. It's going to be really sick. So M2 giveaway is going on right now, which that has XR Plus on it, and I think we still have like 2 weeks to go. So make sure to go to obsessgarage.com and buy some more stuff to convince me to make sure that we do this giveaway. I think this one's going to slay. The M2's done pretty well. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one.